What's up, everybody? Love and light, peace and blessings. It's me, your girl, Catalea, coming at you guys with another All Things Poly episode. So, you guys asked me to do this. Y'all asked me to have a woman on who had multiple male partners or relationships. I think they're your boyfriends, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're her boyfriends. They know about each other and everything. So one of them actually posted this. He said he was coming, but I guess he had something to do. But multiple boyfriends, y'all. So y'all asked for it. Here it is. I want to go ahead and let Marjani Lane introduce herself and, basically just tell you guys where you can find her, all her social media platforms.
Okay. Hey everyone. My name is Marjani, like she said. I am 29 years old. I'm the founder of the Marjani Lane Instagram, which is a Black polyamorous educational page with just heavily focused on Black bodies representation. I live in Hawaii, so it's super bright right now. So it's only like 2 p.m. Yeah, it's only 2 p.m. And you can find me typically Marjani Lane, either like that spelled or put together on pretty much all the social medias, YouTube, Twitch. I haven't have a Twitter yet. Have a Instagram with Marjani Lane, and then version 2. Also, Facebook has 2 pages, and I have a marjanilane.com website that you can find more of my content in and more of my interviews. So yes, I am solo poly, and I do have more than one boyfriend, and they all know about each other because it's ethical.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about you. Like, what do you like to do for fun? Like, just what is pretty much like in life for you?
Oh gosh, the average day in life for me. I'm a supervisor at a rural project here in Hawaii, so I spend a lot of time at work overseeing a rail project, a train project, and so I usually will go in for about 8 hours. I come home, I play with my dog, I cook. I love cooking. That's like a really big thing of mine. And then as of right now, only one of my boyfriends stays on island with me. Now he doesn't stay with me, but he stays on island. So I will go and hang out with him a lot. We spend a lot of time together. So usually my free time, if it isn't with me by myself, is with me spending time with my boyfriend because he's the only one, quote unquote, left on the island. I am a gamer. I am a nerd. I nerd out. I game. I watch anime. I'm very normal, so to speak. I do cook a lot. I really like cooking. That's like my big thing. Next to Marjani Lane is like cooking. It's like cooking, gourmet cooking, catering. I cater on the side. I am. It's for like a little backstory. I am a Navy vet, so I just got out of the Navy last year after doing 5 years as an air traffic controller. So that's where I'm at right now. That's really about me. I'm just not too much.
That's why I asked you that question because it's a lot of people who feel like, people who are in poly relationships aren't normal people. Like,
Yeah.
the stigma is that they're swingers or they have
Mm.
sexual issues or, all these things. And I just wanted people to see she is a normal person, y'all. She does do normal things.
I have a normal life. It's probably boring to some of you guys. It's very normal.
So how did you decide like that you wanted to get into the poly lifestyle? How did you decide that it was for you?
Um, so I'm 29. I say about 10 years ago when I was 19 in college, I was just kind of really measuring out, like, kind of seeing like, hey, I can be with more than one man. Like, and not just simply like obviously the
Oh,
echo.
I was telling my son to be
Oh,
quiet, but go ahead.
oh, okay. Not just simply on like the romantic spot, not on the sexual spot, of course, but like a romantic aspect. At that time, I will say I was not ethical. I was not ethical, and that's and I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's not a good thing. I was doing things that was not appropriate and considered ethical polyamory. I was unethical. I was cheating, and so it kind of took me realizing like, why am I lying? What is really, if I'm lying about this and having to go behind closed doors and just sneak around and then it's just not logical. It's not a logical thing to do. And so I transitioned over into closed triads or polyamory. And I did that a few times. That was not my thing. My closed triads I was in were one man, two women. the idea, it wasn't the fact it was one man and two women. It was mainly for me the fact that it was closed. I didn't have the freedom to still be polyamorous. I felt like I was monogamy plus one. It was like, yeah, we're still monogamous, like, just plus one person. And I didn't like that feeling. And so that's when I started transitioning into more different aspects of polyamory and becoming solo poly, which is I treat myself as my own primary. And that fits me a lot because, like, when I was 19, that's what I should have did in the first place. I should have just had, more than one boyfriend or girlfriend, and I was romantic with them, and there were separate dynamics, and I was still able to express myself romantically. And that's how I got into it. It fits me. It doesn't, like, to the point, I don't even consider polyamory a lifestyle. It's more so a love style for me. It's actually like a part of my identity. I equate it to the same space as my sexuality. It's not something you just take away. I'm not going to ever go back. I'm not doing polyamory. I am polyamory.
Okay.
So that's how I got into it.
Okay, I like that. I like that explanation. That's who you are. And I get it. Like, but some people, they kind of stumble onto it and be like, "Oh, didn't know that I like this, but I do."
Yeah.
So
yeah, they do. They do, like, this is kind of thing. I like this space. It's a nice space.
right.
It's nice. Yeah.
So that's what I'm running into. And then some people are, some of the interviews that I did, like, some people say that they were doing infidelity within their relationships. And so that's when they decided, hey, I don't want to let you go, but I like this over here too. So I mean, everybody just has their own sort of discovery, if you would call it, of how they came about. So that's why I wanted to ask you this question. Now, one of the questions, because I had a couple people who knew that you were coming on, they wanted to know, like, sis, how do you get men to agree to this?
Oh.
They was like, ask her, like,
oh my God. Yeah.
Brothers got a little ego, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
One, so
it is not an easy task. I actually think it's harder than, having a woman agree to be one of many women, especially now, like, for me, the biggest thing is, my polyamory is set in such a way, my partners still pursue other relationships. So they're not closed off. They're not only monogamous to me. It's not like polyandry where someone has multiple husbands and there's only the husbands are monogamous to that single woman. So my partners are still, I don't like saying the word allowed because they're their own adults, but are allowed to pursue other romantic relationships. That is an easier sell than saying you're only going to be with me. And so that is something that kind of gets, makes it easier for me. I open up that I'm polyamorous and I let it be known that you're not going to change that. There's no special magician stuff you're going to do in the bedroom. There's nothing you can do for me to make me monogamous with you. Even if I'm only dealing with one man at that time, I could be doing woman for 5 years. It doesn't mean that I'm non-monogamous. And that's something that I have to reiterate sometimes to Black men. I always tell people who are looking into this or trying to emulate what I'm doing, that it requires a lot of self-esteem. Your self-esteem has to be set. Your womanhood has to be set, because you are going to be challenged. You are going to be slut-shamed. You are going to be put down. And, for me, that doesn't bother me as much as it bothers. I get more bothered about what people say about my partners, about their manhood, about their Black manhood. I don't like that. I get real upset about that. Because, they're not less than men because they date me and I date other men. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even know how that correlates. Also, I would say don't pursue men whose masculinity is dependent upon your submissiveness. If his manhood depends on you to be submissive, he needs to work on his manhood again. Because if you're not submissive, doesn't mean he's no longer a man. And that's something that I really pride myself on, that all the men I deal with romantically do not need me to submit to them and, put myself down or become passive. And they don't require that in order to validate their manhood. And that's how I'm able to find the men I am. I do. But I will say there's usually 100 no's before there's a few yeses. Any of those yeses are not worth my time. Every yes is not a good yes. Everything that includes is a go.
That's true. Every guess is probably, because I could imagine some guys thinking, well, ooh, now I'm just gonna just treat her any kind of way or do any kind of thing. And I'm sure a lot of women
no.
who practice that love probably go through, that type of thing. Like, for me, like, I think with any woman, like, a lot of ladies, y'all out here, y'all listening, from my insight, I feel like if you are a woman, you need to get with a man who does not have like this huge ego that thinks that he needs to conquer you or make you, smaller in order for him
Mm-hmm.
to be bigger. And I
Mm-hmm.
realize like a lot of that has happened to me because, I'm a hustler, I'm a grinder, I'm very motivated. I'm very dominant, I'm not going to
That could
tell
be,
a man what to do,
yeah.
but, I just move like a leader. You know what I
Yeah, you
mean?
move autonomously, and that can be very triggering for some
Right.
men who
And they
depend
don't
on
like
your
it.
submission.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'd be like,
Or
oh,
they confuse submission with passiveness. That's something I've noticed. There are some Black women who are submissive and are willing to be submissive to their partners, but a lot of men are misunderstanding submissiveness. They think submissive means passive, and that's not the case.
or
You might get
stupid.
the Yeah, like that's not the case. You can get you a submissive woman. She's gonna check you like, hey, bro, we're not doing that. Nope, I'm not
Right.
following you down there. I'm not following you down there. And so that's something that they have to learn. But a lot of that comes from white supremacy and toxic male
Male
masculinity
toxicity.
that was
Hmm.
created by white supremacy. It all falls back on to the lens of white supremacy and how they hypermasculinize Black men, and such a big issue to navigate in polyamory. Whether you're on the side of dating multiple men or you're a man dating multiple women.
It's an issue. It's an issue in monogamy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Either
mm-hmm,
way, like it's a big issue. And
mm-hmm.
then for me, like because I'm such a, you know, I'm just such one of those really dominant type of women. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say that I'm gonna be like rah rah in a dude's face. Like I know how to be sweet and all of that, but I'm gonna tell you how I feel. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, you gonna
So
find out today. Yeah.
because of that, I tend to gravitate to really masculine dominant men.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it should be a way that we should go like this, we should fit like this. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I definitely agree with you on that. Um, so what would be like some of the cons that you would say, like, you know, just before you got into your relationships, you know, being, a woman who dates multiple men? What would
Mm-hmm.
you say like some of the things that was like whoa to you, like this I don't know kind of thing?
About dating multiple men, the cons of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's a good question. Uh, I think it's the balancing of I don't like using alpha as the word too much, but all my partners in some form or fashion are very dominant and alpha like, and so it isn't necessarily like their alphahood over me as much as their alphahood over other men. And so like I had to make sure the partners I acquired were not going to go into fisticuffs with each other every time I see each other. I can't have my boyfriend meet my boyfriend 2 years, my boyfriend of 4 years, and start fighting this man in the living room. I can't have that. I can't have that space. So I think also recognizing and respecting the fact that they I don't like you to say they share me. I don't like using that word, they share me, but they may both date me, but they don't both have to be in the same space at the same time. And I have to respect that. I don't have to force them to be on like, oh, let's do a double date with me and so and so. Like, no, I don't have to do a date with both of them. Like,
But do
and
they though?
no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're not. There's some boundaries that I understand that don't have to be discussed. I do not think that my boyfriend uh, is going to go on another date with me and my other boyfriend. He's going to be like, oh, so who's paying for the date? Because obviously you're taking us out because I'm not the one. So it is that, and it is also, I think another con is me, because of my personality type. I'm really what's the word for it? I'm really assertive, aggressive, and so like I
Me
don't
too. I can
typically,
feel you.
yeah, I typically don't like my metas. So the women that my partners, their girlfriends, right? I don't typically like them. Typically, I've noticed there has been a range of me just disliking these women, and like it's upsetting because like sometimes I'll hear them say something, I'm like, I don't like her. Why are you talking to her? Like like what and I have to respect that boundary. That like probably the same way I feel about their partners, they might feel the same way about my partners, right? So
Right.
I can't you know, quasi try to attempt my idea, because I'm not vetoing anybody. I'm not trying to make them not stop dating her, but I have to be respectful and understanding that this is their own relationship is separate from me. And that's a con, I think. I don't really think there's too many cons as far as like, now the process is frustrating, it's draining to find more than one man. It's draining to have to explain that, you know, every time you say you date more than one man, the conversation goes left every time. You can just bank on it going left. You know, it sounds so cool when a man has 2 girlfriends, but the second I say I have 2 or 3 boyfriends, everyone's like, "You whore." And I was like, "What? What? No. Like, what are you doing?" And it's very, very upsetting. Or they don't think that I'm in actual committed relationships. They don't think these are commitments. They think I'm just like playing around like I was 19 or something. And that's those are cons, because it devalues these people, these men I care a lot about. Like, I love these people, you know. So that sucks a lot. And I have to really work on like making sure I'm like adamant about explaining, and then also knowing sometimes when it's not, you can't explain it to some people. Some people are so close minded. I don't waste my time.
I could definitely understand that. So the other women that your boyfriends are seeing, like, do they know about you?
Yes, everyone knows about me. Thankfully, because it's ethical. If they don't, I didn't hear about it. If they don't know about me, then that's something. Someone's in trouble. But yeah, everyone knows about who I am. They know who I am.
So like, do the guys ever get slack for like being with you, and they be like, you gotta, you know, do they ever get slack from that whole
From their other girlfriends?
Yeah.
Yes,
I can imagine they do.
They
right.
do. They do. They do quite a bit, actually. So I try to look. Once again, it's hard because
I know it is. It sounds
I
like
had to, and I kind of had to get a come to Jesus meeting from 2 of my partners about the pool that they had to pick from. There are not a lot of polyamorous women that are like me that are accessible to them where their locations are at. Let alone if there are polyamorous women that are accessible, are they black, and even if they aren't black, are they attractive to them? They're attracted to these women, and then like, you know, are these women, you know, compatible for what they're trying to do? So typically, no. I am like a free radical, a unicorn, so to speak. I'm not.
You
common.
Really are. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not common. So like, you know, so usually they're picking from pools of anonymous women who are okay in their mind with the existence of me. The problem is every single one of my partners has told a woman that Ebony's not going anywhere. That Ebony's my real name. So Ebony's not going to go anywhere. Marjani's not going to go anywhere. And that becomes an issue, of course, because everyone has this idea. A lot of women are socialized, like, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have kids, and this is just a phase, and I can just roll through this phase. Sis, it's not a phase. You're going to be here for a long time before this phase to go away. You know, so like that is something that is causes a lot of issues, and that's typically why I don't like my metas, because, you know, you knew who this man was when you met him. And, you know, black men, and I just made a post about it, black men are being more vulnerable in these spaces about polyamory, and they're being told they're not black men, they're not men. And it's like, what? Like, monogamy does not equate manhood. And so like it's frustrating for me. I do try to be a little considerate, but I don't like these women. So I don't like these women. That was a cool little thing that popped up.
Well, see, I agree. Like, I had a friend, right, and they were not in the poly lifestyle at that time. I think they're kind of transitioning into it right now. But before, they were kind of like in the swinger lifestyle, because they both had worked in like the film industry, and one of them was a stripper, and, you know, that kind of fast, crazy life. And so the husband, like, for all of these years, you know, would not allow his wife to be with other men. He just wouldn't allow it. So one day, I guess they had been together for years, maybe 10 to 15 years. I don't know. And then he finally like had got one of those epiphanies, like one of those aha moments, like, I'm selfish.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know, like, I'm letting her,
Good
I'm
wife,
doing
though.
all of this with all of these different women. Of course, we're doing it together, but I'm not allowing her to do it. Right.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So he allows his wife now to be with other men, but she doesn't want to do it unless he's there. So now he's there, you know.
Oh no. Oh, that's part
Right.
so
So now
exhausting for him.
he said he actually, it turns him on. he said
Okay,
he did,
okay. I
he
say I
said he
imagine that
didn't think,
sometimes it might be too much. It might be too
yeah,
much.
he said he didn't
Like,
think that it would turn him on,
okay,
but he said
okay.
it does turn him on. And he was like, I don't know what I was thinking before. And I was just like, that's because your ego was in the way.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
get what I mean? Your ego was in
Yeah.
the way. Not saying that, I would like to live that lifestyle, but I
Mhm.
just wish that we lived in a society where it was okay for Black men to really express and be exactly who they are, and what do the things that they really like. So
Yeah.
instead of being judged, and I would imagine you get like judged a lot. Like, what does your family think about, your lifestyle that you live?
My mom doesn't care. Uh, so my mom doesn't care. It of all the things I've told my mom, when I told her I was polyamorous, she was like, "That's what you call me about? You woke me up from my sleep for this? Like, you think you telling me something? Like, even when when I divorced, I was married at one time in a monogamous marriage, and I divorced my husband, and I was like, she's like, yeah, don't go back and be monogamous again. You can't do that. That's not your jam. I don't know why you keep trying to lie to yourself that you can do it. And I was like, I wasn't lying to myself. I was going to do the thing, and I didn't do it right. I mean, I did it right. It just wasn't. It was just like,
It
my
wasn't
mom
you.
doesn't care. My family, I mean, I don't know what they know. Some of them are on my Facebook. I'm sure they know more now. I don't really care. I have a privilege where they're not paying for my bills. They don't do anything in my home. They don't do
See, I
anything in my
like
life.
that attitude. I like that.
Yeah, so like I have no loss if they do care, because okay, like
Okay.
you care. So
So we got a question. So Crown and Curl said, "Are you always practicing safe sex with every partner because everyone is open to date whoever? Just wondering how everyone is staying safe."
that's a great question, Crown and Curls. So I practice. So fluid bonding is what you're saying. Safe. So fluid bonding is something where you have sex with a person or more than one person, and you guys share fluids. That's inclusive of oral sex and anal sex, of course. So a lot of people get stuck on genitalia. It's inclusive of oral sex. I am fluid bonded to only one partner, or one boyfriend. I would say I do have more than one boyfriend, obviously. Or one part. I will say just to kind of make it easy. I'm not going to split up to like my boyfriends versus my comments. I have 4 partners. I'm only fluid bonded penetration to one person, and anything else that is done as far as like oral is discussed, and that's how that goes. I don't have sex with one of my partners at all. Like we haven't had sex in 2018. No, nothing at all. That's a personal choice. I have a strictly romantic relationship with this person. We've been together almost 4 years, or 4 actually it has been 4 years. It's been 4 years. Like so, obviously, it ain't going nowhere now. We're kind of stuck in it. So like that's how I do that. As far as like my boundaries, so what I have as a boundary is if my partner is, if you're fluid bond by penetration to me, you're only fluid bond by penetration to me. And if there is, like I can't prove it, I can't go by and like, inspect every time I have sex. But if something happens, I know who to go to. I know exactly who to go to for certain things, and I know where to start. And if something is off, and I'm like, yeah, so you obviously broke a boundary, which is equivalent to cheating to me. I can know that you have a girlfriend, but if you were having sex with that girlfriend unprotected and I didn't know, and then something happens, I know exactly where to go. Especially something happens. It's one thing something happens and a condom breaks, and you tell me, please just tell me, so I have the opportunity to either say, you know what, it's cool, we keep doing what we're doing, or you know what, how about you go get tested first, and then we will go back into rotation with unprotected sex. I also open the space for my partners to think that they, to communicate if they want to open up having unprotected sex with other people. I typically say no. Actually, I've always said no. So if you say that you want to have sex with other women unprotected, and it has to be unprotected, I'm going to say, well, we can stop having sex unprotected. Like I'll go ahead and stop you right there, but I'll save you that distress for yourself, and that's fine. I think that's fine for me. I can find other people to do that with if I want to do that.
Okay, so basically, let's get this straight because I don't want people to get lost here. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and break it down for some of you slow people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically, I'm just being funny. Like I try to make light of the
Yeah, you're
situation.
right.
So basically, what she's saying is she has some people. some of her part, a couple, maybe one or two, right? Don't let me say it wrong. One of her partners she has unprotected sex with, which is what she would call fluid bonding, right? Mm-hmm. The other partners, maybe she might not even have sex at all, or she might wear protection. So that's what she's saying. In case you guys, you said not slower though. In case you guys wasn't catching it, I just wanted to make sure that I broke it down for you guys because
there's always one. There's always one.
Right.
There's like, always one that's like, so what you're saying is she's running a harem in her house.
So like you're saying some terminology that a lot of people are not well versed in. Can you help us get a little bit more versed in like poly? Because educate us more so. Because a lot of people don't know. And I was told, you know, by Mr. Porter himself that you are very knowledgeable.
Alex.
Mm-hmm.
I love Alex. Such a nice man. Yes. So I would do bare basics, quick 101. Polyamory is multiple loves. Polyamory simply means multiple loves. There is no goal in polyamory at its root. It's multiple romantic relationships. So no one runs with that. Kind of people run with that. Like polyamory means family. Doesn't mean that there's nowhere that says that anywhere, right? So, and polyamory has different branches of what it could be. So it could be people who are in triads, so 3 people. Closed triads, which is they're only dating each other. Open triads where they're dating each other, but they can date other people. Then you have quads that have the same fixture, like open or closed. You have solo poly. I'm solo poly. Solo poly does not mean single. Single polyamorous people are people who are unattached, not on a ship. Solo poly people can be single, but they're not the same thing. All right. So solo poly people consider themselves their own primary. They typically don't follow the quote unquote relationship escalator of dynamics or relationships that are built off of heteronormative or heterosexual monogamous dynamics. That means I meet someone, I'm dating them, we get married, we buy a house, we have kids, we send kids to college, we retire, we die. That is relationship escalator that society puts out for essentially a Western ideology of what a marriage or a relationship should be. Solo poly don't do that. Like, I am going to nest, or I would like to nest, or we have plans to nest with one of my partners. I would like children, but I'm not oppressed. I'm not against having children. So I'm like a little off on the solo poly thing, but I am solo poly. I still consider myself my own primary. And then there's a spiel of other things. I'm not with all those. Then there's polygamy, 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 multiple marriages at its root. Polygamy does not mean a man with multiple wives. A man with multiple wives is polygyny, G-Y-N-Y, polygyny. And
that's
then,
what I said, but people want to try to fight me on this.
They're wrong. I'm gonna stop them. They're wrong. Go ahead and help them with that. You're wrong. You can Google it. Google's free. I always say that. Google's free. You know, Google's free. Then polyandry is a woman with multiple husbands. All these structures fall under the huge umbrella of ethical non-monogamy, which is inclusive of open relationships, swingers, polymonoflux or ambiamorous, which is people. Polymonoflux, ambiamorous are people who can be polyamorous and monogamous, and it's something that really, you know, that's what I have to do. And relationship anarchy, which is what people who consider all their relationships in their life equal, none of the, and that's inclusive of like best friends. They consider their best friend equivalent to their boyfriend or their husband. Okay, I don't know how to do it. So I don't do it. It's not for me.
So this is the thing. A lot of people get the polygamy and polygyny confused, like on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. So polygamy is what?
Polygamy, gammy is multiple spouses. Gammy as in spouses, as in marriage. Multiple marriages.
So that could be anything. It could be.
That can be anything. Polygamy is actually, you know, I like polygamy because the fact that it actually at its root word is gender neutral. So there may be dynamics where people have multiple wives, but the wives are also like involved, and that's their wife too. So polygamy fits them better because they have 2 wives and a husband, and the husband has 3 wives, than saying they're polygynous. The husband's polygynous, he has multiple wives, but the wife who has her 2 wives and her husband, she's polyandrous. She's not I'm lying. She's polygamous. She's polygamous. And people actually go through a process. They actually go through ceremonies. So I like using polygamy, and I don't want polygamy to get lost under polygyny because it's not under that. You know,
That's
it's
why I'm
different.
trying to ask you to explain it, because people
Mm,
really think that they are one and the same. And
they're
I'm
not.
like, no, they're not. They're
They're not.
completely two different things. So what do you say? Like, so it's polyandry. So pretty much polyandry, right? Is
Mm.
is you're not in a marriage, correct?
No, polyandry is a marriage.
Is a
Yandry,
marriage.
andry is multiple husbands. Yes, is a
Okay, so
wife with
multiple
multiple
husbands.
husbands.
So,
Yeah.
and then basically, what is it when a man just has multiple women, but he's not married to them?
If he doesn't consider himself polygynous, because I mean legally we can't get married because of bigamy, it's illegal in America. He could be. He's just polyamorous. Now I don't say just
Awesome.
polyamorous. It's not. I'm not minimizing, but he's just polyamorous. He's polyamorous with multiple girlfriends, or I mean, and girlfriend to me, I equate girlfriend to wife, but everyone has their own jam like that. But that's the difference for another day. So yeah. So and a man that does not align with having multiple wives does not necessarily want multiple wives. Polyandry, and polygamy usually in the same window as people who take marriage, the system of marriage very seriously, and they also sometimes religious or spiritual, and that's why they are into that. So Hebrew Israelites, Nation of Islam, some African tribes, depending what your affiliation is, they may lean into the marriage part of it. So
Mercedes is funny. She said polymonoflux. Ebony just taught us. She said you pretty much schooled us. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that
yeah, right.
breakdown. So, what could be like some of the advice that you would give a lot of women who want to basically, have multiple male partners?
I have thought about this and thought about this, and I think about like what made me successful, or was, I'm not saying I'm super successful. I mean, obviously I have my own issues, but what makes me in this position, and I think it's really rooted in my mindset. Um, I am able to I'm very resilient, and a lot of things people say to me just roll off like water. My personality type is very different. So if you are someone who is still working on how you even appear to other people, like you're concerned about how other people see you, specifically when it relates to sex and your womanhood and you're a feminist, if you're queer, you're not ready yet. I'll tell you right now, you're not ready. I'm not even going to sit here and sell you the dream that you can do the thing, because you're gonna waste your time. You're gonna be preyed upon by someone who's a manipulator, who's gonna see that all I gotta do is a few things and make her monogamous. You're gonna get slut shamed, and you're going to fold under that slut shaming. And then there's gonna be a lot of different things that are gonna go on. You're not gonna be able to protect your partners as you want to. You can still be a submissive woman with multiple men. Let that be known. I'm not submissive, but it can be done. So I would say you need to work on your identity as a woman, or as a femme queer if you're a femme person who's more feminine, and work on that and solidify that before you go into this space, because you're doing a disservice to not just yourself but your partners if you can't take up for yourself, and if you're always kind of bending the knee because someone says some shit to you like, oh, you're a hoe, like, oh, I'm crying, oh my god, so I said, like, who cares? Who cares that random guy number 4 said you're a hoe? Who cares that guy? You don't pay your bills. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. Then moving from there, I live by this thing. I do not attach myself to men who depend on my submissiveness for their manhood. If their manhood needs me to be submissive, if their manhood needs my validation, they are not a man for me, let alone a man. I don't get to define what manhood is, but I know that's not what it is. That's not what it is. If I have to do everything for you, if I have to be the emotional part of you, first of all, it's almost like a slap in the face of the divine feminine for me to submit and coddle, when that's not what divine feminine is. It's not what it is. It's this wild concept that divine femininity is this like super soft, like, oh yeah, I'm going to here and take care of you. Like Mother Earth is not kind. Like
Right.
Mother Earth is not. Mother Earth don't play jokes yet. We have all been have had our asses messed up by Mother Earth. So like I don't like that, and a lot of people navigate polyamory in that space. If you are finding men who need you to do these things, it comes up in small little things like, well, I'm gonna be number one, or like Are you sure you know these men? Or let me show you why you need me more than all these men. Or even statements. If you would make don't even joke with me about like, oh, like get rid of your guys. You want me to get rid of the men that have been through with me through some serious situations, that have supported me, that have treated me never less than what I've ever been for you, and you just came in here 2 minutes ago? Remind yourself of that. Keep reminding yourself of that. Remind yourself if you find a man that's like that, who's treating you well, who's treating you nice. Don't let yourself be kind of wrapped up by a random Negro number 4 who made you feel weird about that. If you start feeling weird about it, go ahead and move on. Go ahead and cut it off, because you're going to do service. Not only is that, if your partners are with you and their manhood is secure, they will cut you off for attaching yourself to a man like that. Okay? And because they work so hard in their manhood to be in that space. It's not an easy space to be in. It's not an easy space to be in. You know, it's easy for my partner to say they have multiple girlfriends. It's probably not as easy to say that their girlfriend has boyfriends. And when they do say it, even if they're comfortable with it, they're going to have some kickback. And so if they're going to bats with their black masculinity, with men who see their black masculinity through the lens of a white man, you need to do the same thing with your femininity. Don't waste anyone's time, and don't come into space if you're not secured yourself, your identity in this, because it is a waste. I don't want to be rude, but don't waste your time. You know, don't waste their time. These black men could be attached to women who are more secure in themselves, and you know, it is something. That's advice I would give. I would definitely give that advice, and also keep an open mind. I know a lot of people. That's why I don't navigate polyandry or polygamy or polygyny. I don't believe that my partners should be allowed or should have to ask my permission to navigate other romantic or casual relationships. They're autonomous from me. They're their own human beings. I met them as their own human beings. I'm not taking any freedom from them. I may have my own boundaries. You can still have your own boundaries, but your boundaries are for you. They're not rules for your partners. You know, boundaries are eyes, rules are you. You don't want rules, you want boundaries. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's easier, I will say, to find people who are more comfortable with that. But if you're more into polyandry, that's your jam. But like, keep an open mind and always unpack why you feel some type of way about stuff. Like, why do you feel that someone has to belong to you? Why? Where'd that come from? Who taught you that?
Yeah.
That's where I go like, who taught you that? Who taught you that? Where'd that come from? Was that something you were born with? Truthfully, was that something you were born with? Or was that socialized into you?
Socialized.
That's where that came from me.
Definitely socialized. So guys, if you go back and you recap every single video, even the video that I did with young Pharaoh, they all have one thing in common that everybody is saying. The most important thing is knowing who you are, what you want, and being confident, period. That's like the number one thing that everybody is going back to. So somebody said, what if you're a polyamory, but you still want to know who your other partner is with, or have them mention to be in one house together? Oh,
So
sorry, or have the intention to be in one house together. Yes.
You still have, I mean, like, there's different types of polyamory. There's how you navigate your relationship with your metas. So there's kitchen table polyamory, where one can sit at the table and be cordial with each other. Kitchen table polyamory is like what people think is like the top tier polyamory. Like, we're all cool. So like, I would say with all my partners, it's kitchen table polyamory. With their partners and me, it's not kitchen table polyamory. Like, we can sit at the same table, but I can't promise they won't go home crying. The girls won't go. I can't. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna promise that. I'm not gonna promise that. I'm not because I know how I am. I just know how my personality is, and my partners know that about me, so they won't put me in that situation. Like, one of my partners, one of the some war she's to him. She asked to meet me, and I was like, nah. Like, I don't think that's okay. Like, maybe a few months ago it went okay, but right now she's gonna go home crying. So make sure of that. So like, you know, like,
first of all, what's your sign?
Oh, I'm an Aries.
I knew it. I knew it. I swear I knew you was an Aries.
I'm an Aries. My moon is a Leo, and then the Scorpio.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Aries and a Leo. Oh my God. Did you say Scorpio too?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. I see why. I see why.
He was like, everyone's like, I fucking knew it.
Yes. I
swear,
I see it, okay?
Yeah.
You are some fire. Oh my God. Oh my, okay, yeah. Yeah, no.
Everyone's like, yo, makes sense. You're also an Aries, Ebony. This is what I'm talking about. This is amazing.
Listen, I have never seen nobody with that combination.
That's so cool.
Aries, Scorpio, and what was
Leo.
it?
Leo.
Oh my God. I have never seen those three together, ever. Never seen that combination. That's like way too much fire. You know, way too much rar.
God, 2 Aries daughters. Your house is on fire, Ebony. Oh my gosh. This in the house is like war. There's war games in your house. Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah. No, it makes so much sense. And it's funny, one of my partners, the partner is here, he's a Gemini. My other partner is a Leo. The other one is a Virgo. He's very in his feels, a lot of feels. Yeah, it's fine. I like his feels. My partner that's a Leo, he's very like calculated, very like, you know, and then a Gemini.
First of all, how do you do a Leo and a Gemini? Oh my God. How?
I think so. Corness goes to the Leo, and it just works well with us. I think because of the Leo in my birth chart. I also have Gemini in my birth chart too, so I think that usually kind of makes it easier for me. But he's kind of like my headspace. Like my headspace is like Leo, but like the execution's Aries. It's like nah. Like who cares? It's burning everything up. Like like who cares? Why? Don't let the Leo tell you what to do. Like don't let him tell you what to do. Don't let that guy. You don't know what he's talking about. You know. And then the Gemini. I don't even watch this.
I can't do Gemini. I can't do Geminis at all. We bump heads like this, me and Geminis. I'd be like, look, y'all. Look, bro.
Some of my closest friends are Geminis. I don't know. I just do really well with them.
I can't do Geminis. I get along with Aries, but relationship with Aries men, for me, it's crazy because the sex is amazing. Like the sex is bomb. But what I can't do is be told what to do all the time. Or to be like, you know, come here, girl, do this, do that. Like, I can't do that. So
no, we're definitely control freaks.
Yes, I can't. Yeah, I'm a Virgo, so we already control freaks. So we both gonna be doing this together. Like,
nothing's gonna get done.
Nothing. She's frightened.
I forgot the girl's question. The person's question earlier. I was gonna answer. What if you're polyamorous, but you still want to know who your partner is? Oh yeah. I was going about the different. So it's kitchen table.
Okay, yeah.
Then there's parallel polyamory. So parallel polyamory is kind of imagine how the screens are right now. Parallel polyamory is like, you know, let's say me and you share you share a boyfriend, but we never interact. Lord, they're not the best. me and you know, you share a boyfriend, or we're, you know, our boyfriends. It isn't. It's separate. It's like separate. It's like parallel. 2 different relationships. Could be one same. You know, a couple dating separately. Parallel polyamory doesn't mean you're like rude or mean to anyone. You just don't engage with them. So technically, I would argue that some relationships are parallel polyamory. I don't necessarily run these people. I don't really talk to them. I don't really know what my metas are doing, but I know they exist. Don't ask, don't tell. I know everyone gets weird about this. Don't ask, don't tell can be ethical. There are people who navigate polyamory, capitalship, swinging, where the hell it may be, that prefer don't ask, don't tell. They don't want to ask, and they don't want you to tell them shit. They don't want to know. Doesn't mean they don't know that it exists. They know it happens. They just don't want to be a part of it, and that's okay. You know, some people just have no interest in that. So I'm in probably, I think one of the dynamics that one person is kind of arguably a don't ask, don't tell. They're not necessarily a girlfriend to them, but she has no interest in knowing about me at all. Like once in her space, she's with him. She doesn't want to think about me, that I exist, or that there's anyone else there, and that's fucking fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I don't think, as long as we know that's a don't ask, don't tell situation, and it's not someone being cheating or being misleading their partner, it doesn't matter, in my opinion. But so that's where I'm at with that. So like for that, you can talk to your partner and say, I would like to know, you know, for whatever reason it may be. I would suggest unpack the reasoning why you want to know. Do you want to know because of safety? Do you want to know because of sexual, you know, it's like, you know, concerns? Or do you want to know because you're fucking nosy, you want to be in their shit and you want to control some things? Because that is a thing,
right,
too.
Right.
And then if they say, or have the intention of being in the house together. So if they're talking about being in the house together, that's when we're going to talk about everything. There's no more don't ask, don't tell. I don't do don't ask, don't tell. It has to be, it won't be don't ask, don't tell. And it won't be parallel polyamory if you're living with us or I'm living with you. It's going to be kitchen table. I need to know who you are because I am very, kind of like there. I'm like in the space. I'm domineering. So if I don't like you, and it's a lot of tension, we can't live in a safe space together. It doesn't make any sense. So have that conversation. If your partner's talking about having someone move in with you guys, as I'm assuming, and you haven't met this person, whatever, you have a right as an adult human being to say, hey, I'm gonna stop it right there, bro. Or sis, or who the hell they are. We need to talk about this. They can't move to the home with us unless I know who they are and I can actually be with them. Because guess what? It's not gonna be like, oh yeah, they're gonna split the bills with me. What if this person has like severe nasty habits and you're like a clean freak? What if they play music loud at night? And then not just simply that, if you guys are not romantic with this, if you're not romantic with this person, how are the sleep arrangements going to be done? How are you going to handle intimacy? How are you going to handle, what if you both are really big on physical touch and quality time, but you don't want to share physical touch or quality time at the same time as each other? That's a whole different fucking navigation space.
Right.
So people don't think about that. And, you think you're okay with it, but you never experienced because you never met this person. So remind them and put a boundary in place. I will not be okay. I'm not going to live with someone who moves someone in that I never met and I'm not comfortable with. That's a boundary. You're not telling them, hey, you can't do this. You're saying, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to move in or live with someone who I've never met and they're romantic with my partner because I don't know them because it's going to cause an issue. And be comfortable with the fact that it may go bad. I need people to be uncomfortable with the fact things go bad. There's always going to be consequences to some boundaries you put in place. You need to be comfortable with that. If you're not comfortable with that, then don't even put the boundary up. Don't even lie to yourself. Don't waste your time. But if you're comfortable with the idea that that may be an issue, then go forward with that. I hope that helped whoever was asking that question.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you were saying. But I know, like, for me, as far as like poly relationships, that's one of the reasons, why I did this, because it's like I'm kind of on the fence about poly because I've been in a poly relationship before, and for me, it was one of those things that was really cringy for me, the whole situation. Like, I got along with the women, we were all cool, and it was just him. Like, he thought, yeah, he thought that because he was poly that he could go, and sow his royal oats everywhere and get people pregnant. And if you got 3 women and you over here getting a girl pregnant, then I got an issue. You get what I mean? I got a problem.
Nah, buddy.
I got a problem. And so I think, like, that's one of my reasons for doing this, because I wanted to, like, really see why I was going to be in a poly relationship. And I think that a lot of women don't get into poly because this was one of my reasonings for getting into poly in the first place. The reason why I got into the relationship is because I felt like, well, men gonna cheat anyway. I might as well know who they are. You know what I mean? I might as well know who the women are, because men are going to go and be with other women.
It is not. The cheating is such an interesting thing because people cheat whether they're poly or not. Cheating is polyamory doesn't save anyone for cheating.
Yeah.
And so, like, I used to be a cheater, not a man. So, like, it doesn't really change anything.
It doesn't matter.
It's disgusting that he did that because it puts you guys at risk, because obviously he was in there busting raw nuts, with God knows who.
I didn't have sex with him, thank God, because we wasn't too far into the relationship. So we didn't get there yet. You know what I mean? And it was just something in me that was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't have sex with him. And
that like constantly, hey, that's not the one for you.
Right. It was just something. And I always go with my gut instinct. So I'm telling women, this is the things that I go through in my mind, because I know a lot of other women go through this. And, I would love to be with one man. I would love it. But I think at this point, the way our community is right now, like, it would almost be selfish for me. You get what I mean?
I don't think it's just their self. I get why people feel that way. I don't agree. I'm trying to ignore this comment by Black Pill he wrote. Or they wrote. I'm assuming they're a man. So I'm trying to ignore it. I keep seeing it. People who know me and like I'm like zoning into it. But I think it's not selfish. I think there's this obsession, unfortunately, with nation building in a community, and we have to acknowledge the fact that nation building can be done in more than one way. Nation building for you may be monogamous with a man, and you and this man are both monogamous together. but you create like almost a web of networks. You create, you know, infrastructure, you create Black businesses, you create Black capital. And there is nothing selfish about how you guys navigate your romantic dynamic. Because I always find this, people say there's not enough Black men. I'm like, I have 4. Do you want one? And not to be like, not to minimize them, not to say they're like something I give away, but like kind of keep that in mind. I am pansexual. I do date anyone's gender. I don't really care about their gender, but I only typically right now only dating men, Black heterosexual men. So obviously there are present. There's enough out there, okay? And these men can date other women. So it's not like I'm taking anything from someone. Y'all can date them too. Please help
See,
help
that's
me
why
out.
I'm taking time right now
You know?
to really get to know me. That's why I'm not out here having sex with nobody. I go on like little dates occasionally because I feel like, you know, it's healthy.
It's okay to be romantic. I still engage in romance.
Right.
Yeah.
It's healthy to go on like little dates here and there just to see, because I might meet somebody. You never know. But I'm like taking time for me because I've been, and a lot of women have been like this. I've been so conditioned by so much that's going on in this world. I've been told by, been pressured by Black men to be in polygamous relationships. I've been cheated on. I've been lied to, you know. I've been manipulated. I've been put in jail behind a man. Like so much stuff.
No.
Right. Girl,
Yeah, I
so
can
much
see why
stuff
that
has
creates
happened.
discomfort in this space.
Right. And so it's
Yeah.
like, you know, okay, now I'm rationalizing in my mind, yo, maybe you need to just be in a poly relationship and find you one good man, even if he's with a woman, you know, and at least you'll have somebody good. You know what I mean?
But then homeboy cheated, so it didn't really matter.
But then he cheated. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And it's like, okay, wait, Catalea, just take time to yourself. Find out who you are, what it is that you really want, you know. And so that was kind of the thing that really birthed all things poly, like having the poly conversation, trying to really get into poly and really learn about it and see if it's somewhere that I want to go, if it's a place I want to go.
So
And
do you
that's why
want to
I'm doing
only
this.
be do you feel you're monogamous? Do you feel you only want to be with one man?
I only
Like, do
want
you have
one
love
man.
for one man? Okay. And so like, so something I've noticed is people who are in poly mono dynamics where monogamous people are dating someone's poly in regards to their gender. I say this often. I think that people who are monogamous dating someone's polyamorous and they're comfortable and they're set, that takes a lot of unpacking, a lot of validation, a lot of security in themselves. And I esteem them the highest in the whole love style because it is not easy.
See, I
It
don't
is
have a
not
problem
easy.
with the women though.
Yeah.
Like I'm really
Yeah.
secure within myself. Like I don't have a problem. I actually would love to have a woman around all the time where we can do shit together, even get
Like a
into
sister wife,
healthy,
yeah.
even get into healthy fights together because I'd be bored as fuck. I'd be like, I really don't need to argue with somebody.
But you got to find the ethical man. And so what's going on, unfortunately, and I know people are going to come for me, and I don't care. That what's going on is that the nation. I keep leaning into it. Nation building and the Black man as God and only God. There's no God. It's just one Black man as God. And I'm saying this as someone who used to be a part of Nation Gods and Earths. So understand where my background is coming from with this. That there is no space for Black women other than under the Black man. And that's an issue. Because what's happening is you have Black men who feel empowered to be in these relationships. However, they have not taken any time to unpack their misogyny, no time to unpack the toxic masculinity they learned from white supremacy, no time to unpack the hypermasculinity that was beaten into them essentially by trauma from white supremacy. And that's where you get these severe things. I don't even want to get in the beginning of like all this, like, feeling entitled to go spread my seed across the world. Even though I have 3 wives who are literally right here and like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? You know, and unfortunately, people get caught in a charm, the lie, they get sold on the story.
Well,
And
he was
it
just
is
basically trying to follow the footsteps of his daddy because his daddy got like 200 kids.
Not he don't got 200.
I'm not joking. Kids. I'm very serious.
That's gonna be a no for me.
It
Nope.
was he was
Nope.
one of I don't know if y'all know who Dr. Malachi Z. York is. He was one of his sons. Not one of the close sons. Not one of the ones I don't like. But this particular gentleman was one of his sons, y'all. Like,
not the T. Not the T.
I'm just letting y'all know I'm keeping it all the way 100, okay?
Oh
Yes, he
my
was one of
goodness.
his sons. So he was trying to be like his daddy, like for real, for real. And
Yeah.
I should have never even dealt with him. But that was before I did, I used to be Nuwabian or whatever. So that was before I actually did like all the real research behind what really happened with that situation. And I didn't even know. Girl, I wish I would have known. But
Yeah, I think people should definitely look into, pay attention to who you idolize, right? Not necessarily with your situation, but some people don't know. And like, I'm not one saying what's names on your page because it's your page. It's not my page. It's your account. But be careful who you idolize. Pay attention to what they're selling you. Are they selling you a dream? Or are they actually talking about how they're navigating that love style? Are they talking about what they do? And if everything they do is always about like what the women are doing and how the women are coming together, but there's no unpacking on the self, don't waste your time. It costs money to be polygynous. Just I'm gonna call it what it is. It takes money. A lot of people are trying to idolize Pan Africanism, or they're Pan African, and they're trying to idolize like West African ideologies of polygyny. As someone who deals with Nigerian men, I'm gonna tell you right now, they've told me it ain't what it's cracked out to be, and there's a reason why some Nigerian men are monogamous. People go into like almost people kill people, wives, children kill other kids for the money. Like it can get pretty dark, and so like, and these are like off the boat Nigerian people I know, like this. I came here to hang out for a few weeks, so kind of pay attention to that, and don't fetishize something without any legwork. You have to do the legwork. You have to understand what's going on. You don't deserve anything. You don't deserve anything. You are offered opportunity to be in that space. You don't deserve 5 wives. You don't deserve 5 husbands. I don't deserve 4 boyfriends. I have to work to be in this space. And are you gonna be in that space off of manipulation, or are you in that space off of like genuine, like, let me unpack myself, open myself up, and see what am I doing, and am I worthy of being in this space? Am I worthy of being around these people around me? And that is something that a lot of people are not willing to do when it comes to poly, no matter regardless of their gender. So like, just kind of keep that in mind when we fantasize or fetishize these popular polyamorous or polygynous or polyandrous dynamics, because that's what's happening. People are like becoming like
they're
obsessive.
really fetishized. They're really fetishizing it, like to the point where it's like it's the thing to do, or just
the trend.
because like it's a trend. Like it takes a lot to deal with 2 women.
Oh yeah,
brothers. Let alone 3 or 4. It takes a lot of work.
Because don't let me feel like I'm getting less than anything. I'm gonna let you know, like, hey, I feel like I've been receiving less love lately. I'm gonna need you to figure that out. Like, I don't know what's going on with you. Are you feeling bad? No, okay. You need to figure it out. You have too many girlfriends. You need to figure out what you're gonna do. You gotta figure it out.
I don't think for me, I'm like I said, I say how I feel, like kind of like you, but I try to do it in like a sweet little way, but still kind of stern, And so I think for me, like that's one of my issues, like when dating, period, whoever I'm dating, because it's like most men don't want to hear the truth.
No, I mean, well, because once again, it taps into that discomfort of ego, and like cracks that ego up a little bit, and no one wants to hear that. So it is uncomfortable, and that's why it is hard to be polyamorous and dating multiple men in a community where typically they want one woman, they want one man with multiple women. I've had people tell me like, you're going to you're destroying our community, and I'm like,
somebody told you that?
Oh, all the time. Like my Facebook life with Marjani Lane is completely different than my Instagram. Completely different. I've been told the most outlandish shit. Like, you're destroying the Black community. It's because of feminism is why you're doing this. I'm like, honestly, feminism has little to do anything with why I'm doing this. I just like men. Like, I just like men. And I'm typically more attracted to romantically with men. And I find it more logical to be with more men in a financial, if we're talking about basic nation building, which is rooted in capitalism, typically, unfortunately, and raising money, making money, it makes more sense to have more men in this white society where men make more money on the wage salary and the salary gap than black women, than to have a slew of women that get pregnant. You can't argue that with me. No one can argue that with me. If I'm the only one getting pregnant, and there's only one baby coming every 9 months, 12 months, okay, why would I attach myself to a man that can get 4 women pregnant at the same time? And then my occupation, I can take, maternity leave, but like, I mean, that's still, like, I mean, but I can't leave work. I'm not leaving work. I'm not leaving 6 digits to take care of a kid because you want to keep busting, like in me every 9 and 10 months. And that is something that people don't want to hear. No one wants to hear that. They don't want to hear that because like, oh, no. I'm like, no. Let's talk about numbers. You want to talk about numbers? We can talk about numbers right now. Let's talk about numbers. I get it. Three people in the household all bring income together. Yes. 3 people in the household that each have, the 2 women have kids, multiple kids each. And then, then we're talking about like people who are fiscally or financially not, have no financial literacy. That's not making any money. You're not going to make money. 3 people with bad credit will never be my equivalent as 1 person. And that's something that black people have to understand. We shouldn't be promoting nation building in the sense of like one man, multiple. We should be promoting nation building in the sense of financial literacy. Financial literacy and understanding capitalism and what it does and how we're going to navigate that space. Okay, it's not about, because my thing is the Black Wall Street was not built off of polyamory.
No, it wasn't. Not at all. They didn't even believe
it. It was built off of financial literacy.
Yeah.
And if you want to recreate the Black Wall Street, you need to understand capitalism. All right. I don't know how else to say it. And it's very frustrating because a lot of people are trying to sell that dream with like, you have people on Instagram that have big houses and all my wives have houses and all this and this. The man is a millionaire. Or this guy is a trust fund kid from Nigeria. Yes, the prince of Nigeria, one of 14 princes, is going to have enough money to have 16 wives. You cannot. You have to do other things. I don't want to break anyone's dream. I don't want to break anyone's heart. I don't. But it has to be said. It has to be said. It has to be said because people are coming here and challenge me financially, and I got you. Let's talk about paychecks. We can talk about paychecks. We can talk about how much money I make compared to you. If we want to be that simple, we're going to be that basic, we can. At the end of the day, is building a nation, when we're talking about nation building in America, in a capitalist society under white supremacy and white patriarchy, specifically white patriarchy, because it's very specific. And we're talking about building capital. We got to think about it the way they think about it. And, if you're able and capable to marry, if you prefer multiple women, I don't care. That's fine. But don't sell the dream that you're going to make more money than someone else who is dealing with multiple men. Because if I have all my partners,
you're right. It does.
It's not going to work.
Economically,
unless the women are all like making like money, but the average person in America doesn't make. I think that's the average for black people, like 48,000, if that. I'm being honest with that.
It's that. I think it's 30,000.
I'm being honest with that. And then we're talking about credit. Unfortunately, black people, even when you have credit,
household, they were saying 2 people in the household, 30 to 40,000 for the average black family. So yeah.
And black people still don't make as much salary as other people. Like when I left the military, it was hard because I had to actually ask people how much money they made because I want to know that I was getting paid their equivalent. So fortunately, I'm for a company that is very transparent about that for the most part. But I was like scared because I don't want to hear someone who's the same job as me making $20,000 more than me because I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna fall out. I'm gonna pass out. I'm like, oh God, doing the same job. But it was something I had to ask. And, I get it. Now, if you have your religious beliefs for that, that's your business. I'm talking about people just coming in brand new. It is important that we really take the time to research and understand this stuff. And I might be biased because I obviously date multiple men. But I will say that I would rather be with multiple men than in a house full of women getting pregnant. And then we got friends watching the kids. And we have 1% home watching kids. There's 10 kids. Have you ever watched 2 kids? It's a lot to watch 2 kids. Imagine 10 kids. Like 1 person, 10 kids. I can't do it. I'm not gonna stay at home. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm interested in being in an MFF triad with another woman and one of my boyfriends. Open, of course, but I know I can't stay at home. I'm gonna go ahead and say, you know what, sis, I will help with the dinner.
And you know what? You said it best.
I can't stay at home.
Because half of these dudes who be saying they want multiple women, y'all can't even afford to take care of yourself, my dude. If you don't have a house that you own, if you don't got cars that you own, if you don't own property, Yo, bro, stick it
It's
out
too
with
early.
one
Don't do
woman
that to
and come
them.
back later.
Don't. They're trying to have dreams. Don't kill their dreams. No.
Nah, forget that. I just gotta keep it real. I just
Get
gotta
the
keep it
dreams.
so
Fuck the
real. You know
dreams.
what I mean? Because
But
it's
it is
so
important to talk about
easy.
that. We're talking about leading, right? So I'm really if you don't know, I'm queer, so I don't really necessarily lean into the binaries of man woman too much. I am film queer. Obviously, I identify for the most part as a black feminine person. Um, but this is obsession once again, but off of whiteness. Is that women are supposed to follow the man, and people try to lean into it too much. I'm like, you guys are not. You're leaning into it, and you're trying to paint it in a. People look at Pan Africanism through a white lens, which bothers me. Polyandry exists in Africa. Matriarchal societies exist in Africa. And Africa is a continent. It's not a country, guys. It's a continent. It's huge. It's big.
Huge.
So
Tell
there's
them
different
again.
dynamics and different tribes. Even societies where there's patriarchal societies, women still have a lot more pull than you think they do. So some societies is the lineage is inherited by the woman. So like
Yeah,
I don't
because some of
understand this
them are
obsession with
matriarchal and
seeing.
some of them are patriarchal. Correct.
Yeah. But seeing seeing society, Pan-Africanism through a white man's, you're still seeing through a white man's lens. That's why I was asked, like, what have you done to fix? What have you done to unpack your masculinity that was built into you by hypermasculinity by white men?
They can't
And no
tell
one has
you.
an answer for that. They don't have an answer for that because they don't know what that is. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, cool. Just make sure. So when you're looking at trying to you're not about to lead me to hell. That's not happening. And you're not going to lead me to financial. I have partners that actually think two of my partners are, to me, more financially logical than I am. I invest in stocks, but like I'm not like a freaking. I'm not good with numbers. I hate numbers. I don't even like touching numbers. So like in a space where we're living together, or we're finding finance together, I'll probably just say, hey, this is the money I got, and I don't know what to do with it.
Right.
I like to cook, so I like to cook. I like to cook not because I'm a woman. I like to cook because I like to cook, and I don't want to in the kitchen with me.
I love
so
to
like
cook too.
it has nothing to do with my genitalia. It's just because I really enjoy cooking. I like creating in that space. So I will probably want to monopolize all meals in the home. And if there's children, even more so, because I think children need to have a better diet to create just a better space for their brain. And so like I want to be involved in that space, and I will probably fight and win that space. So like, but beyond that, like everything else is free game. And this idea that we should follow, a lot of times I think it's an obsession with our ancestors. I love my ancestors. I have my altar over here, have some things over here. Everything my ancestors did was not right. Everything my ancestors did was not for me. I can still honor them, but I don't have to copy everything they did. And I think we get kind of stuck in this mindset that men and women have to do this. And I'm like, you understand that was a time where it had to be done. Yes, men were bigger than women. Off of just biology. Yes, of course it makes sense for the 6'2" man to go hunt the freaking the animal in the woods.
Well, that's why I say men and women are not equal. But
yes,
in certain kind of ways we can be. That's what I do agree with you on that.
I agree, because it makes sense back then. And I'm tall. I'm bigger than most women. I'm 5'8". I might have a better chance. But in the grand scheme of things, like all my boyfriends are stronger than me. No matter how I put it, they're stronger than me. It is what it is. I'm not going to fuss about it. I'm not going to get mad about it. They have more muscle than me. So it was this. But it's just 21. So unless we're going out in an apocalypse and I need to go fight some like random tiger or some shit, ain't no reason for me to be doing all that stuff they were doing 2,000 years ago. It doesn't even make any sense for me to do that. It's not logical for me. I'm not very nurturing.
Well, I think like some things that our ancestors left to us does still pertain today, but some things don't. So I agree with you on that too. And then
I do. I agree.
And then some things that a lot of people in the conscious community don't take into correlation, that we don't even know what our real original tribes were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So while you guys are saying it should be this way, it should be that way, it should be this way, you guys are holding on to Africa, you know what I mean? And don't even know which way to go, because everybody is like, okay, I'm going to find this that resonates with me, or I'm going to find that resonates with me. But for me, I'm just pro-righteous. I just feel
I
like
like
I
that.
just
I
want to
like
be
pro-righteous.
righteous.
I like that. I've never heard of that before. Pro-righteous. I
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
just pro-righteous. Like I don't practice no form of spirituality. I
Mm,
love nature, and I think logically. And I think that's the problem that a lot of us too lack is critical thinking and thinking logically. Like you said, it's so many people that it's so, like you said, men are gonna just leave me to death. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of people, especially men, especially black men. And this is not to bash black men, because I love y'all to pieces,
mm.
but it's so many out there who really don't know who they are, and they don't understand. They haven't really got in touch with, all the damage that white supremacy has caused us. So what happens is, for women like me who really want to love a black man and be with a black man, like she said, you wind up causing us more damage. And that's not to say that there aren't any, excuse my French, bleeped up
Mm,
women, because it
mm.
is. Because the exact same battles that you guys are fighting, we're fighting
We have
those
to do the
same
same thing.
battles.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
But then we're having your back while you're fighting yours. And a lot of
Yeah.
us women feel like y'all leaving us out.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That yeah. It's so that is a whole word. That right there should have been like just everywhere. And it is so imperative that there are spaces for black men to talk to each other and to
Yes.
police each other and talk to each other through these processes. Like I love the idea of like me being, I would love to like, I know that what I say because of what I look like is not going to be enough. It's going to be, they're not going to, some black, well, not a lot, but enough black men are not going to be comfortable with me saying it because of my space and how I speak. I am already doing too much because I step over the line. Like, because I don't believe in like not, I don't care about your gender. I'm gonna say how I feel. Like, I don't like that, And so a lot of them their ego was just destroyed that, but it all
Right.
is rooted in hyper masculinization of the black bodies, of all black bodies, not just men, but women too. So, anything I do. So if I do it, it's
You're
me
too
acting like a man. I'm
masculine.
doing too much.
Yeah.
I'm being
You're trying to
masculine.
be
If a
like a
Hispanic
dude.
woman does it, she's being saucy and fiery, which is still toxic. It's still very toxic. And
Right.
if a white woman does it, isn't seen that. It's just she's being
It's
catty, right?
cute.
Yeah, it's cute. It's catty.
She mad.
These are all forms and views of black bodies via hyper masculinization through white supremacy.
It don't
It
matter
all
if
falls.
you're right. It don't matter if you a man. It don't matter if you a woman. It don't matter if you black, white, purple, green. You're right.
So, and it's one of those things where we have to kind of think about these things as we're processing. And so, like, I know, even though as much as I will love to be involved in the conversations with black men and about black masculinity, I cannot. I know that there's not a safe space for them if I'm present because someone's going to always cater what they say because I'm present. And I think is a responsibility of black men who are more secure, who are comfortable. And being comfortable and secure does not mean you have to date multiple women who date multiple men. Put that out there. There's men out there who are very secure in their masculinity that prefer to date women that date them only. I don't know if you, but they are out there. So like, so I'm not saying that. I'm saying more so like, let's unpack these things. This ego. Whose ego are you holding? Is it your ego or is it ego of a white man? And I made a post today about double consciousness from W. Du Bois. It is kind of essentially seeing yourself through the lens of whiteness, and then also kind of doubling back of like seeing whiteness through yourself. And it's something that all black people have to really sit down and think about, is a double consciousness of what are you really seeing and what are you really perceiving and where's it coming from, that double mask, that two-faced thing. And it sucks. It's like kind of like it sucks a lot. And when we're in polyamory, it's more difficult because now we're in a space that's deemed as whiteness, which is not. It's not whiteness. It is something that our ancestors did. It is not
For many,
whiteness.
many years. Yes.
So it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and I imagine it's difficult for black men. But I do urge them to kind of, when you feel uncomfortable, just ask yourself, why? Why am I uncomfortable? And then unpack that. When you ask yourself why you're uncomfortable, because when you start asking why, a lot of people just say, I don't like it. I don't want to do anything with it. I don't want it. Why? Why don't you like it?
Your ego.
Why? Yeah, look, what is it? What is it really? What's really being messed up here? Are you concerned about how people think about you? That's what it is. Or do you feel that you're being devalued? And if you're devalued, is it an actual validate? Is it actual true devaluation? Are you actually being devalued, or are you perceiving that devaluation? Is it an actual act? You know, and it sucks. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of shadow work. You know, that shadow work that being polyamorous, being in relationship and being successful relationships, and being comfortable in those spaces requires a lot of shadow work. And I think being polyamorous kind of forces it faster because you're dealing with more than one person, because you see
Yeah, you're
different
gonna
facets
have
of
to
yourself.
really work on yourself. Yeah, I have to agree with
So
that. And because I mean, think about it this way, right? It's everybody has something that it is that resonates within their heart, within their soul,
mm-mm,
that
mm-mm,
resonates with who they are. Whether you're gay, whether you're bisexual, whether you're monogamous, whether you're poly, no, whether you're lesbian, whatever, it doesn't matter.
mm-hmm.
But what that is that does not define who you are as a person. And so many people are looking at you, me, or anybody else based on their perception or based on their own views of what they would or would not do. You
Yes,
cannot
yes,
impose that on somebody.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have to understand that there's a level of love that you need to not only have for yourself, but
for
for
both people.
everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not causing you no harm, if they're not doing anything wrong to children, if they're not killing, murdering, or any of that, and they just have a different viewpoint or a different lifestyle, it's none of your fucking business. Like straight
Yes,
up,
yes,
it's
yes,
none of your
yes,
business.
yes. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Once again, there should be a pose, like, put on a banner somewhere, flying through all the skies. Like, it's none of your
Yes,
fucking business. It
we
doesn't
have to
matter. It
start
doesn't affect you.
treating people by who they are,
Mm.
not their lifestyle, not their sexuality, not any of that. Just because you don't agree with it. And let's get into being gay or lesbian or bisexual or queer. Let's talk about it. Because it's a lot of people who, especially if you're poly, right? And the women are bisexual and everybody is like, oh, that's unnatural. Well, who said that it was, who said what natural is?
Yeah, we really have to talk about sexuality and the fact that sexuality and the idea, the elitism that is being created, that sexuality is only heterosexual, right?
Who
And
said
at
what natural
most,
is?
who, where
Who
did we get
said
that
it?
from? Who told us that? I'll tell you,
I don't think
white
I don't
supremacy.
think
Like,
Mother Nature told us, hey, whoever you like, that's unnatural. Everybody has their own. You never know why somebody feels the way they feel or why somebody likes who they like or love who they love. You have never, until you walk the mile in their shoes,
you don't know. You don't
you
know, and
don't know.
it's
And that's
so
not your place.
sad. It's so sad. There's people who are living in spaces where they're trying to pretend that they don't like other genders, and not just black women, but black men. And of course, when it gets to black men, people start burning houses down. They start freaking out, and it all boils down to, once again, you know, who taught you that? I like to always ask myself, when I was in college, and I went to UNC Chapel Hill, and it was all white school. If anyone knows about Chapel Hill Tar Heels, it's all white. It's all white. It's liberal, but it's all white. And I was there, and I had like a freaking breakdown one day, because I'm like, I was in a classroom learning about Black history in a building named after a Klansman. And I was going to a library named after a Klansman. And I was like, I remember I was it was called a pit. It's like it's like the main area of the campus. And I was like 19. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like it broke my mind, because I was like, what? Who is? I'm being taught Black history via the lens of white people,
Supremacy.
and it fucked me up. If I'm talking about it destroyed me. Like, I was messed up for like 6 months, because once you understand too much too fast, it actually really causes a lot of distress, because you're kind of you're breaking the ego, you're pulling the carpet from under your butt, from your legs, you're like having to unpack everything you've learned, and it is very uncomfortable. And I had to really sit down with that space, and I was like, why am I here? Like, why am I I'm over here living in a dorm that slaves built, literally slaves built. because if you know anything about UNC Chapel Hill, slaves built North Campus.
Right.
They were taking water out the well to give to their masters. It was like, yo, what is this matrix I'm in? And I had to really, and I always ask myself, who taught me this? I had to wait 18 years to get to Carolina, UNC Chapel Hill. My mother was very pro-black. She was always implementing pro-blackness in me. But the lesson that she was always trying to catch me, I never really understood until I got to college, was who taught you that? Who taught you that? Who taught you that? Who gave you that was a thing? I always ask myself, who taught me this? And then I try to be more independent about what I learned. I mean, obviously, accessibility and affordability is different for everyone else. But I had to ask myself when it came to sexuality. And sexuality for me wasn't as bad as it was navigating religion and love styles. Because religion is rooted in love styles a lot. So I was Christian. You're Christian, that's fine, whatever. But like I was Christian and I was monogamous, faking monogamy. But I didn't understand why it felt so like tight. It was like, this is so restrained. Why am I doing this? I'm only monogamous because I'm religious. I'm not monogamous. I'm monogamous. I'm monogamous. I'm so afraid of going to hell. And I was like, what the fuck is hell?
When I was religious, I was so afraid of. I think it was just so much fear. Okay, I'm gonna displease God if I do this.
It is do this. And I was
literally breaking my fucking back, trying to live in a way that, because some things in the Bible is contradictory. So it's like you're trying to live in a way that's virtually impossible.
It's impossible. I literally had a nervous breakdown in college. I was like 19. I was in the pit. I was like crying. My boyfriend's like, what's wrong with you? I was like, why am I here? He was like, whoa. And I was dating an Armenian guy. And there's nothing wrong with him being Armenian. He was Armenian Persian. So he was from Iran. And he was like, you're just now catching it? Like it bothered me. I was like, you're European. He's like, well, yeah, but I'm from the Middle East and I've been here. The stuff you're finding out now, we've already been there, because of the where I'm located at. And
they were taught they were taught the truth.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are being taught lies.
It hurts so bad. And unpacking that, and that's why I say with polyamory, if you've been living monogamous your entire life, and you're truly polyamorous, you're still gonna have to unpack some shit. I know I'm polyamorous. That's always my identity. But I also know that I still to this day am unpacking and navigating and kind of like looking, reassessing, like this looks different. It's not how I feel. Like jealousy is a thing that happens. It's uncomfortable, but where am I getting this from? And it's really me kind of going back to myself, my true self. Black people have more work sometimes with our true selves because of what we're being fed.
We got a lot of work,
Yeah. And so I really hope anyone who's trying to look into polyamory takes the time to actually understand it's not a journey of like, let me find people who are okay with this. It's like, let me find myself. Let me find myself. Because you might find yourself and say, you know what, I'm not polyamorous. And that's fucking okay. That's completely okay. There's nothing wrong with not being there's nothing wrong with it. It's okay to be polyamorous and have jealousy. People are jealous in polyamory. It's okay to be polyamorous and say, you know what, even though I'm coming to my manhood, but I still prefer women to only be with me. That's okay, as long as you're not imposing your manhood on them. Like, I'm doing it because I'm a man, but you're like, hey, this is my boundary. I just like this because of these things. This is why. And you will see the language changes when someone's secure in their ego. Their ego
and
is
especially
different.
when they say why, because most people don't even know why, like you said, that they feel the way they do. They really don't. If you ask most of the men who say that they want to be in polyamorous relationships, right? The number one thing, and I'm saying men because I can't really say women, because I can only go off of what's been done to me. So this is not to bash the brothers at all. I'm just basically putting this on what's been done to me.
Yeah.
So the number one things that I hear when men say that they want to be in poly relationships, number one, let's nation build, girl. Let's get this nation together. That's number one, right? Right? Number two, oh, it's more black women than it is black men.
I'm still waiting for those stats on that.
Number two. That's number two, right? Number three, it's unnatural for a man to be with one woman. It's unnatural.
It's also unnatural for black women to be with only one man. If you read Sex at Dawn, it talks about the biological way our bodies are built. Sperm competition is the reason why men are stronger and bigger, because they have to kind of the same way in nature, animals are fighting. Male animals are fighting to impregnate, to extend their lineage. There's a reason why that happens. The only ones that really do that are penguins, because they're monogamous typically. I think penguins
And
and
sperm
swans
does that
are
too, right?
monogamous.
Sperm go through the
Yeah,
thing and fight
the
each
sperm
other.
tries to fight to get to the egg. Guess what? Fun fact: the egg picks which sperm is most biologically superior to impregnate it. That's why people are always trying to get pregnant. If you are superior the first time, you'll get pregnant. And nobody wants to hear this. No one wants to accept this. This is truth, and you have to accept what it is. It is biological. It's biological. The way that this penis is made, not made, but the way the penis is engineered to scoop. Yes, please send. I'm saying I don't want to. Catalea,
Yeah.
Catalea Cash App. I'm going to actually add that to my my Instagram when I'm done with this. Thank you for this content. It's very. I don't think I've ever been interviewed. I have been interviewed by women, but not like women who actually like are like on the more spiritual side. I would say that. But yeah, it is the way the penis is structured to be almost like a scooping technique, like scoop out other sperm.
Mm-hmm.
Take it how you want to take it. Take it how you want to take it. You don't have to like it, but there's nothing biologically that says we're monogamous. Nothing at all. There's not a single thing. Not at all. Nothing at all. And so like monogamy and polyamory are more of a thing of preference, I would say. I believe I'm polyamorous. I feel I'm polyamorous, but it's still a preference, right? You know, I wasn't.
And you can change your mind,
yeah,
because we change.
So it's not like a thing. It's not a bad thing. And so it's not the whole nature thing. I always take that and I throw it out. I just people who've been together for 15 years and can't get pregnant. The wife or the husband goes to someone else and they get pregnant. So who's at fault? Monogamy's at fault. I'll tell you, monogamy's at fault. Then we go into and monogamy doesn't mean that you love someone less because you do something outside of a relationship. It doesn't mean that at all. You know,
And it doesn't mean
Hawaii,
that if you're poly, you're a hoe, ladies or fellas.
No, yeah.
Too.
Fun fact, Hawaii.
Women will do that to the men, like, oh, you seeing all these, you dating all these women, you for the streets, you for everybody, you a hoe. You know what I mean? So that happens to brothers too. That happens. They say that to y'all. And the same thing to women, vice versa.
To police, it's policing.
Right.
That policing will mess you up. Like
just
even
let
like
people
things like
be who they are. Can we just stay out of people's business?
Like just mind your business. Do what's best for you. Like I don't need you to kind of tidbit or even make side comments of what I'm doing, because guess what? One, I don't care. I really don't care. And two, I'm always there's a reason I always have something in my back pocket to pull out about natural. Like, you know, even when women like, oh, men should only be monogamous. I got you, sis. I got you. I got some. Even when I said, well, women shouldn't be only monogamous unless they have to, unless they want to. Got some of that too. Men's testosterone lowers when they're monogamous.
That's
the
true.
reason why that's a problem. The reason why that's a problem is in nature. In nature, if we're in a situation, I would rather the person has the most testosterone than the one that has the least testosterone, because of muscles, aggression, ability to follow through. Those are things that are biological. And you know, even though me as a person who I am feminine, I was born female, of course. I don't like that, but it's a thing. It's not my dog's barking. So like I had to accept that, but it's what it is. I will argue that too. Nation building. We talk about capitalism over here. It doesn't work in this country. It doesn't work. Having 18 wives does not work in this country when they're all pregnant and you all have bad credit. It don't work. Stop right there. It don't work. It does not work. You cannot exist outside of capitalism and think you're going to overtake capitalism. I'm just going to stop anyone right there. I've done this for like 10 years. I've been looking at this for 10 years. I took econ multiple times. I'm like, capitalism is a failing society. It will fail. It will fail. But you're not going to overtake capitalism by looking in on capitalism. Unless you're off the grid, you're not. It's not. I know people who were living off the grid, but they're still getting a check from the military for being disabled. Are you really living outside of the United States?
No,
Are you really living outside of space?
No, you're not.
You know, I'm gonna collect my check from the military. I'm gonna take my check because I did my time. But I just want to think about that when you people say like, just think about that what you're saying. Think what you're saying and what it looks
real,
like.
y'all. She's like, I'm still getting my check, but I'm saying.
Oh no, I did that 5 years for that check. I'm taking that check always. Right. No, cowboy.
I'm not mad at you.
Sorry.
But yeah, so guys, we don't want to keep her on too long because it's like an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're good now. Sorry, someone came and delivered some stuff from my house. It's fine.
Okay. But no,
But thank you
still
for
don't
having
want to
me.
leave you on. We definitely gonna have to have you back, and we're gonna have to talk some other topics, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because we need you back. Actually, ladies,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I want you and get your friends together because I feel like we need to have like.
I will try to have my partners up here next time. He didn't. One of them want to get up here this time because unfortunately, because of my space that I'm in as an influencer polyamory, a lot of people kind of like typecast him to being, oh, you're Marjani Lane's boyfriend, and it's kind of shitty.
Oh, yeah,
so like he's his own individual. Please, everyone who's watching this, my partners are separate from me. Yes, they date me, but they are not me. They're not like under me. So my IG information is Marjani Lane, as you can see, put together. So at Marjani Lane on pretty much anything. So that usually works. If you at least go to marjanilane.com together, it has all my content, all my stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having me.
Now I want to have you back though because I want to have some ladies on here, and I think all of us ladies need to get together and have like real life conversation, and just have some real conversation, real topics about real things that's going on. So I would love to have you back on. Everybody, make sure y'all hit her up on her Instagram. That's Marjani Lane. Put together one word.
Yeah, one word. Yeah.
So thank you everybody for tuning in, and peace. I will see you Thursday, y'all. See you Thursday for another.
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening. Bye.
Bye, everybody.